Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome to your very first gameplay video from F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, the brand new Creator Team Career Mode in the new game. We haven't seen any gameplay from it so far, but today is the day, and when I say you need to strap yourselves in and get ready for a lengthy video, because there's a lot to dive into. The trailer that Codemasters have dropped today may be quite small, but there are so many little key-by-key frames that we can pick through to see different parts of the gameplay, the different cutscenes, the different menus in My Team Career. So yeah, get ready, strap yourselves in, because this video is going to be all the details and all the gameplay you need to see from F1 at My Team Career Mode in 2020. I've got the trailer in my editing software and I've chopped it up to the kind of key aspects, so we're going to go through them and just kind of go very slowly through it, because like I said, there's so much to look at. So we're going to actually start off with a little bit later on in the trailer and then come back to the start, because I think this is way more interesting to show you guys from the get-go in this video. So here are the first shots we can see of the facilities in F1 2020 My Team. So we know that we can upgrade the facilities from, things like, improving the engine side of things, the chassis, the aero. We've seen details and heard details of, things like upgrading the wind tunnel, the simulator. Well, this is the first time we can see things through. So excuse the kind of tapping on my keyboard that you might hear in the background here. But as we go through, we've got the engine bay. But notice that from shot to shot, some look more high-tech than others. So we're actually being shown the difference of the cutscenes and what we'll see in My Team as we upgrade our facilities. The actual cutscenes and the facilities will literally visually get better for us, as well as actually improving the car, obviously. So now we can see we've got the full car being built. Looks absolutely sick. I mean, just picture this. Imagine this, what we're seeing right now, like just 2 years ago. Absolutely insane in terms of how far we've come with the F1 game. Here are the next shots for, I think this is going to be like the PR department, the sponsor department, essentially, because we go from this frame to this frame. You can see there's now a fully fledged team compared to just one person in an office. You can see that it just looks a lot better. Instead of one room, you've got a much bigger room with like 3-4 personnel there in the background. As we move on from there, then we can see now the menu system for the game, and this is going to be like this home splash page of My Team Career. On the top, you can see overview, facilities, R&D, vehicle, corporate, and standings. So this overview is for the activities. Now, I made a video on this and kind of, described it to you and kind of drew it in front of your eyes. So now you can see what I was trying to get at here. This is what it looked like. We've got, different days for the different activities, and we've got time to be used, and we've got to use them as efficiently as possible and decide for ourselves which ones do we want to focus on. Marketing strategy, second driver PR training, or driver promotion filming, simulator training, chassis team building. On the left-hand side, we've got a calendar system to actually see how everything shapes up through the year. So now there's actually going to be literal days of time we can actually really pinpoint in the game, rather than just going from race 1 to race 2. We can actually look at the 20th of April to the 30th of April, which is the Grand Prix weekend. And then the bottom, you can see that confirmation of the stats the second driver will have. F1 released these driver stats over the weekend. That was because they were running up to revealing this trailer and showing all of this. So the driver stats are experience, racecraft, awareness, pace. We've got the different departments with morale and acclaim and resources overall for our career. So we're going to move forward then. Now you've got the facilities. You've got the usual ones that we had in the past in F1 2019 career mode: aerodynamics, chassis, powertrain, durability. But now you've got personnel with the simulator, fitness center, analyst suite, and then marketing. You've got sponsor relations and activities management. At the bottom, you've got weekly running costs. Now, of course, you're going to sign sponsors to try and help that out and get more money, and so that will help out with the weekly running costs. But at the start, we're all going to be pretty damn poor when we start off My Team Career Mode, so the running costs aren't going to be that high, to be honest, and the weekly resource points also won't be high. You've got the difference there of R&D points and currency. You can see clearly on the screen, both of which will be have to used in tandem together. R&D points for the actual car, but you're going to have to spend the money to actually upgrade the facilities in order to actually upgrade the car. So both will have to be worked on. You can't have the two kind of separate. They have to work together in that kind of aspect. You now move on to just looking through at the vehicle screen. You've still got that usual stuff, with the gearbox, but then we're going to move forward to now developing the team and this part of the trailer, and you can see the wind tunnel, and you're about to see the differences also in the kind of simulator. So we've got this more kind of high-tech simulator, I guess. You've got a full-fledged rig with a 3-monitor setup, but then we move forward to a full motion rig simulator, which is what the actual F1 teams probably have, is a full motion rig. So that is the difference of upgrading your facilities from this simulator to this simulator simulator. Same thing with the wind tunnel. Look at this very basic. You've got a fan on the left and you've got an engineer just squirting Floviz paint over the car to see what it is like this. And then we move forward and you upgrade it to a proper actual wind tunnel that most of the F1 teams actually have. But it's just so cool to actually see that visually we'll see the difference. It's not just going to be a few numbers in the stats and the feeling on the car. You're going to actually really get that immersion of things are changing. You're building a better facility. You're building a better thing around you. And the team is genuinely looking like a fully fledged F1 team compared to at the start, which I guess is going to kind of feel like almost like an F2 team in a way when you're starting off with such basic facilities around. Then you've got the usual R&D. The usual R&D tree is still going to be there with the kind of vehicle performance comparison. Early doors, you can see a little inkling of the team standings. I'm sure those will change in terms of the performance levels once we get to the real full game, and I'm sure there might be a patch post-game to kind of change those, so don't take too much solace in what those look like right now, but the R&D tree will still be there, so very familiar territory for us if you've played F1 2019 career mode in terms of, you know, the R&D tree and how that goes on, so I don't need to really mention too much about that, but there you go, a look at that with the R&D now. For the first time, it seems like you can also see the R&D reliability difference for each team, which we couldn't do before. I'm now going to move this a little bit earlier into the trailer, because now we can see the menu design for the power unit selection. So this will be one of the very first things you have to do, along with, you know, designing your team with the livery and the gloves and whatnot and the overalls. You have to choose your engine supplier, and that's going to be the cost straight away up front. So these figures, I don't know, they might change to the full game. We don't know. I've not been told if there is going to be subject to change, but right now we've got obviously Renault, Ferrari, Mercedes, Honda, different costs. So the most costly engine is actually the Ferrari engine. Performance-wise, looks like they've made the Ferrari engine the best engine on the grid. Obviously, remains to be seen if that is the case in real life, but obviously we've not had any racing, so you can't really argue it too much either way. But, you know, obviously Honda there, you can see they've got the worst durability on the grid, but also they're one of the cheapest. So you might want to go for Honda as a cheaper way, knowing that, though, there's also a bigger ceiling to improve the engine, perhaps. Or you could just be picky in terms of what engine sound you like. I know, personally, for me, that also might come into my consideration of what engine sound I prefer on the game of what engine I might want to pick for my actual team. But speaking about designing things for your team and choosing important aspects for your team, we're now going to look at the sponsors that are going to be available in My Team Career Mode. So we've got a very nice kind of full screen graphic here of all the different sponsors, so just take a look at them all. I'm sure they'll kind of have different, well, I hope. It looks like here, they're all white logos on a coloured background, and as we go on, there are actually some more sponsors to show you, but they're all white logos on a coloured background. So why that's important is it hopefully means that we can choose the colour that these sponsors are in. So hopefully there's that level of customization where it's not only the kind of sponsor look and the logo design that we can kind of take into account when choosing sponsors, and also obviously the money that comes with them, but also perhaps we can also now then customize the color of the logo, so we can truly get a car that we like the look of, because it's going to be your car. You're going to have to look at it every single race. So I'd like to think we can actually change every aspect of those and kind of look through them. But here is the sponsor selection. So selecting your primary sponsor, this can be changed between seasons. So this again is a screen at the start of the career where you choose your headline sponsor that you'll get the most money from at the very get-go, and obviously you're going to have to use this then to eventually then buy your second driver, buy, you know, the first kind of bits and bobs of your facility. So you can see we've got 4 million, 5.1 million. You've got little details and goals for each one, so finishing 5th or better in the Constructors' Championship. So, you know, there will be some pressure to perform depending on which one you choose. So you might be getting more money, but there's going to be a higher goal to go for there. And then you've also got bonuses with there as well. You've got increase each team acclaim level, and then you've got bonuses that go with that in terms of the increase with each team acclaim level, and then the goal bonus. If you complete that goal, you get that extra money on top of the signing bonus you've already got from signing them at the start of the career mode. We're going to go now to the start of the trailer, because I'll keep on this theme of looking at the customization of the team and selecting your team from the get-go. So a little bit at the start of the trailer showing you the different faces. Hopefully there'll be more faces available to choose from for your own character, and we can choose our own race number as per usual at the start of this career mode. But then the interesting thing is going to be choosing the livery and the design of the overall. So this is the first time we can see the overall design on this game. You can see here the badge will stay put on the overall, and also the helmet. So that is also something you get to design, is your own team customized badge, and then that will stay put. But throughout then you can go through with these very different swanky designs basically. My favorite one though is this. This looks absolutely awesome. So if this is available in the full game, I think I might be going for this overall set. Maybe not the gloves, but the overall for sure. Those look really cool. I'm very into space, so I like the design and look of that, especially with the cap as well. But as we just go through, you can see a bunch of different designs for the overall, the gloves, and also the helmets on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there'll be any of the sponsors we choose going on the helmets. What will just stay put is, like I said, the kind of team badge on the front, but I guess it's better than not having something like that. But hopefully in the future, we can see those sponsors maybe being able to be put on the helmet just to make your helmet look a little bit more realistic compared to the kind of, obviously, the real drivers that have sponsors galore all over their helmets. But as we swing through now, a little bit more gameplay at Paul Ricard and the Australian Grand Prix, but now this is the interesting thing. So I made a video previously about trying to see maybe what liveries are available to us for my team. And we're starting off with a bonkers one. If you choose this, well, fair play. It's a very artsy one. I feel like you'd lose quite a lot of realism having this livery, but it's a very swanky one, so I can't lie. I rate it, but we're going through just frame by frame, so that's why you're going to maybe hear my keyboard in the background just going one tap at a time, because literally in the actual trailer at full speed, this flies by, so the need to try and slow it down in my editing software with the keyboard here. But you can just see a selection of the liveries. I can already see a few that I might enjoy and a few that I might not enjoy, but you can see there's plenty of spaces then for the sponsors to go, and I'm hoping with each layer and kind of shape where the color, the difference of color is, I hope that we can choose every single color, and also hopefully kind of a little bit where the kind of sponsor goes in terms of, you know, if it's a main sponsor, can we, you know, put it on the engine cover? If it's a smaller sponsor, do we have a choice of either putting it on the front wing or the halo and whatnot? But now you can see this very nice transition from the designing to the actual real life there, and there you go. And actually, hang on. Okay, no. Okay, I may have been wrong then. So we can see there's a sponsor on the helmet. So the sponsors will go on the helmet. I actually didn't realize that just now as I was planning this video. Did not see that. So at the start of this trailer, it's very deceptive then. It shows the helmet with no sponsors on. I guess after we can choose the sponsors, which probably would be after this stage of the design process, some of them do go on the helmet. So that's actually pretty damn nice. So it goes in tandem with the sponsors you've chosen for the car. So you can see that just looks way more realistic than just a plain helmet. So loving the look of that, actually. That's actually surprised myself looking through this then. So that was the customization of the overalls and the livery. Next, I'm going to jump to now back to the middle of this trailer, because now this is the corporate part of the My Team career mode screen, and this is where we're going to see sponsorship available, contracts, driver market, finances, finance history, and customization. So the driver market. Now this was a big topic of the debate over the weekend, because F1 released all these stats, and I'm sure there'll be many hours of people debating the stats. But let's remember, it's a game. If you've played FIFA, you know the same thing. The stats in the game, it's just all up for debate. You're always going to have a bit of bias of what driver you prefer and like over other drivers. So I'm not personally going to say anything about the driver stats. They are what they are. We'll just look into them when I start playing my team, and I'll have to decide then and then when I go for. But you can see this is what the driver market looks like. Literally, we can see the whole lot of the F1 drivers available and the F2 drivers. You can see Nick De Vries is there as well. He's our current second driver, I would say, but we can choose then later on in later seasons to maybe sign a new driver over him if we can afford it, of course. You can see the top right, you can see how much money we have, and you can see the market value of right now as it stands is Sebastian Vettel with $12 million, so we're going to have to obviously be able to afford the driver. So that's something we talked about in a previous video with my team, was that you're going to have to play a balancing act of, do you go for a cheaper driver to make sure you can build your car up and your team up, or do you want to go straight away for one of the best drivers you can maybe try and get? Probably unlikely we'll be able to sign one of the top drivers in F1 off the bat. That'll be something that happens in later seasons. Most of us will probably have to go for an F2 driver, or maybe one of the lower down ones in F1. You can see the F2 drivers are literal free agents in the game, so you can choose any of the F2 drivers from the get-go and throughout the entire career as free agents, and then the F1 drivers, you're nicking them from another team. So there'll be a buyout clause that you have to pay to obviously nick them from the team. So with a free agent, all you have to pay is the contract costs. With the actual drivers that are signed to a team, in Esmen Ocon's case here, he's got a market value of $6 million. That's because he's got a salary of $4 million, and then we've got to buy him out by $2 million off Renault. And then we come on to a very interesting screen, and I really hope they did this, and they have pulled through. Very much like Motorsport Manager has done, we can see a comparison from driver to driver, and we've got that little kind of triangle or square or diamond, if you will, of the different attributes, and the direct comparison very nicely visually displayed, as well the actual stats comparing from from left to right compared to Nick de Vries. At the start in this experience, we've got Nick signed, but obviously not being an F1, he's got less experience than Kvyat, less racecraft. He's actually got more awareness, though, than Kvyat in this case, but less pace, of course, as well. So just moving on, as we can see, again, excuse the kind of keyboard tapping, but you can see the difference there on the right-hand side, swapping the drivers out. They all have their different attributes. And then we come through the corporate side on the contracts, and so now we've got driver perks of, like I've mentioned in a previous video, social media team, power mapping, media coaching, development feedback, all of that. Hopefully we can train up on the drivers. That's also something we can get from the actual perks themselves. And remember, this will actually come out in normal F1 2020 career mode. You'll have driver perks in normal career mode with this as well. So that'll be something that you can get from your own contracts as well. As we swing through now, we're going to move through that shot of Monaco. I think that's Zandvoort, I think, the Canadian Grand Prix, then build your facilities. Now moving this back later into the trailer, now we're going to have a look at the finances screen here. So going back to corporate, and now we can see the team balance of the team. So this is the ins and outs of what's going. So you can see we're spending money on aerodynamics, the chassis durability. We've got those 3 sponsors bringing in money. Just as it is in Motorsport Manager, if you've watched videos of those on my channel, we can see fully what we're spending money on, how we're getting the money in, and then obviously we can maybe try and plan then of, okay, we need to try and sign another sponsor maybe. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that midway through this season, there'll be opportunities to sign more sponsors halfway through this season, because that'd be quite cool to be able to have that kind of fluidity and actual dynamicness of the entire season being available to sign sponsors, not just at the very start and the end of the seasons in career mode. But very nice to finally see these screens. We've got weekly outgoings, contract period, the whole season as a whole. Actually, there's the kind of overview of season 1 is plus 1.5 million, and then we've got the perks like I just mentioned here. This will be a very similar screen to the one you get in normal career mode here, but you can see we can purchase these upgrades in my team for the second driver, and I hope for our driver as well. And then we've got finance history as well. We've got contract period here, and we've got I think this is the cash available to us basically through the entire season, so you can kind of see the ebb and flow. So this is very, very nerdy indeed. I don't know how many of you will be really interested in this, but for one, me being a total nerd, I'm very interested in all of this. This is just so sick to see that we can actually see how much money we've got throughout the entire thing, just like it was in Motorsport Manager. Basically, you know, that kind of phrase that I've said so many times, sometimes you've got to spend money to make money. So clearly here in August, we spent a lot of money, but then you make it back later on with maybe getting some goals. So potentially, I think this little red phase potentially is the kind of team goal, one of your sponsors maybe. So that's how we've jumped up money all the way back to like 3.6 million there. But that is then pretty much most of the finite details of the menus of my team career. And we come through to the end of the trailer where it's just the kind of last bit of crate, manage, drive, and then we just got some really nice shots of not only the cars, obviously in the actual world of F1 2020 there, looking pretty nice, but also here we can see the kind of differences of the, we're going to get different animations that we can have for the drivers when they win races. So your unique driver animation will be different to your friends, to YouTubers you might watch, in terms of what we personally go for, of what we want to do when we get out of the car, in the pen, what we do on the podium celebration, because I believe that is the Michael Schumacher celebration there that you can get if you pre-order the Schumacher edition of the game on the podium. And it's just cool to see, your overall, your customization with the sponsors there in front of Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes overalls, and Vettel and Ferrari overalls. And I've got to say, I was very skeptical of how immersive it would look. It doesn't look out of place. It really doesn't look that out of place. And it looks sick to actually be like, it's unique enough that you can see, yeah, that's my team. But at the same time, it's also, it wouldn't kind of be too out of place if you just kind of passed it by. And I'm going to end it off with this screen here, because this is where everyone wants to end up. This cutscene at the end of the season when you win the World Championship. That's what we're all building towards. But yeah, this has been a bit of a weird video, because it's been a very kind of all over there, kind of looking through the trailer step by step. But it's literally it's like a 1.5 minute trailer, if that. But there's just so much to look at, because they've just kind of sped through everything. But obviously we can just go through frame by frame, and so there's just been so much to look at and delve into. But yeah, hopefully you guys are as excited as I am from looking through all of this. You know, all those previous videos I made where I just had to verbally tell you about all this stuff and, in my case, draw on a piece of paper about this stuff. You can now fully see it visually, what it's going to look like for all of us when the game launches. Just so sick. I still am a little bit in disbelief that we're at this point in a Formula 1 game, because I've been playing F1 games for a long while. It's been, you know, it's been 10 years of playing F1 career mode. And when I started making videos in F1 2012, this was in our wildest dreams. None of us could have pictured this happening, and here we are. We've now got all the... It's like they've combined Motorsport Manager and normal F1 career mode from Codemasters games, and that's literally a dream. That's exactly what I've been saying and dreaming about for the last 2 years, especially when I've been making videos about like my dream ideas for F1 2020 career mode or future career modes in the F1 game franchise. So here we are then. So guys, if you did enjoy that video and you are absolutely hyped up as much as I am to actually finally get our hands on F1 2020 and play my team career mode, then be sure to smash the like button. Let me know what was your favorite aspect of the reveal. Like, which part do you enjoy the most seeing? Like, you know, these cutscenes for the facilities, the kind of, you know, engine selection, the sponsor selection, the finances maybe, or, you know, maybe more aspects of the driver market, choosing that, the comparisons. Let me know which one jumped out of you as the kind of juiciest bit to look at from all this in the reveal. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for F1 My Team Career Mode when it comes out, obviously in July, and also F1 2020 gameplay in general. There will be one final race gameplay coming from me tomorrow, so look out for that. But I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy this day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.